Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of the Beanieee Boys podcast with Moses and Doke.
Let's go.
Woo! This week we're talking about the one, the only, the Chicago Bears playoffs.
First off, I gotta say, got the new beanie for Christmas. White Sox all day. But
Yes,
today we're
sir.
talking about, as Moses said, about the Bears. They had a fantastic game against Jacksonville. They are perfectly situated to get into the playoffs. Moses, your take on last Sunday's game?
We did what we had to do. All right, plain and simple. We beat the Jags. I didn't think it was gonna be a tough task. I mean, they're what 1-14? Yeah, 1-14 now.
Now they are, yeah.
But they were one of third team going into this. If we lost to the Jags, we do not deserve to go to the playoffs. Simple as that. All right. But we did what we had to do. We cleaned it up. We took care of business. And Chicago is once again in playoff contention after losing all those games.
I was having so much fun watching that game on Sunday. You know, you said they did what they had to do. I said they did what they had to do and more. They were clapping some Jacksonville cheeks out there, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jeez, dude. Mitch Trubisky, I will say this. Mitch Trubisky looks comfortable. He looks comfortable in the offense. The offensive line has continued to step up their game on every single snap. Montgomery and Patterson have continued their excellence. The offense looks better than I've ever seen as a Bears fan. It looks so good right now. They've scored 30 or more points in each of the last 4 games, I believe. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
I mean, and only one of those has been a loss
Mm-hmm.
against Detroit, which we should have won anyway. But
Yeah, we should have won that game. But it doesn't matter because we are set perfectly to get into the playoffs. We either have to beat the Packers, which would be tough, or have the Cardinals lose to the Los Angeles Rams, which is could
it's
easily happen. Either if one of those two things happens, the Bears are in the playoffs, set in stone, and I feel good because when the Bears a few weeks ago when we did another recap, I was saying, Bears in the playoffs, it doesn't look likely. But then
no.
Arizona dropped that game against the San Francisco Niners, and now we're looking at the playoff picture again, and it's looking mighty fine. It's
I
looking mighty
mean,
fine.
there's nothing to say besides Chicago. We're back in it, baby. Money Mitch at the helm of it all.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Woo!
Hey,
That baby.
Mitch being this good now is just proof that bullying works.
Exactly.
Bullying
Exactly.
works. You bully somebody, they take that, they run with it, and they get better.
Exactly. Hashtag bring
Next
back
time you want
bullying.
results from somebody, you bully the heck out of them. You make them
Exactly.
feel like they are nothing. They will get the job done. That's
Mitch,
my life. That's a lesson that I learned from this, Moses. That's a lesson that I learned.
I think that's the only lesson you can learn.
It's
Mitch, welcome back to Chicago. Honestly, if you keep playing like this, maybe get us a win in the playoffs. I could see you being back. I could see it.
a win against the top seed. I think
Upset?
I think him
Upset?
I think him having one loss as a starter or two losses as a starter throughout the season is enough to bring him back, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, I think the fact that he was benched really isn't helping him out.
No, it's not, but it's not really his fault either. Like he went 3-0 as a starter, and I mean, we weren't really happy with his performances, but then Nick Foles came in and he went 2-5. And now Mitch is back, and he dropped that first game against the Packers, but then since then he's been undefeated. Or well, Detroit. But he's played extremely well. That loss isn't even close to his fault. That's on the defense.
But you know what? Everyone was clicking on Sunday. That's for sure.
Exactly.
The defense
Exactly.
is doing good. The offense is doing good. The special teams are doing good. All right. I can't even complain.
It is Jacksonville, though. We have to kind of stay humble.
That's I'm just riding the high right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm just riding the high. I can it's not very often.
If they beat the Packers, I'll jump on that wave, but they beat Jacksonville, so I'm staying humble and I'm gonna stay in my lane. That's what I'm gonna say. Christmas mug? Christmas mug anybody? No Christmas lights. That's my mug for today.
The mug of the day brought to you by
Mug
Aiden
of the
Doak.
day. Mug of the day.
Mug of the day. I mean, Any other thoughts on this game? I really can't complain. I'm pretty excited. I think that we have an actual shot at the playoffs, if I'm gonna be
Mhm.
completely honest. Uh,
My only complaint um, would be Mac, man. You gotta get some sacks. Like you're doing great pressure in the ball, but you gotta. I don't know. Sometimes he just gets held, and there's nothing he can do about it, and the refs just gotta open his eyes. But sometimes you just gotta shake him off, man. Just shake him off.
all
He's
right.
been playing through some injuries. He's been banged up, but
Don't get
that's
me
my
wrong.
only.
All right. Khalil
Like I
Mack.
love Mac.
I love Mack. He's an elite defender. He's one of the best defender, best defensive players in this league. But I feel like we're still acting like Mack is 2018 Mack. Like he's still, 2016 Defensive Player of the Year Mack. He's not. Okay. Simple as that.
He's been underperforming for sure. He hasn't been
He's
that dude.
he's
I
not worth
I
that contract right now, but he's still, the best defensive player that we have. He's still
well
one of the
he
best players we have.
he's been banged up. He's had some injuries that he's been working through, and so like for me, that's just tough. Obviously, I want better performances out of him, but I'm not gonna be like he's not as good as he used to be, or he's washed or anything like that because
Yeah,
he's
he's not
been he's been
washed,
banged.
but he's
You know what I mean? Like let him get healthy this offseason and come back next year and improve himself to be the defender we all know he can be and has been.
oh yeah, no, exactly. I mean, like he's not like a washed up player by any means.
No,
He's
not even
still
close.
one of the best defenders in this league,
Hmm.
but he's not like, 99 overall on Madden anymore. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he hasn't been what he has. He hasn't been this season what he has been in the past, but I think that he will pick it up. Just I think this is I'm willing to just chalk this up to the injuries. Because I don't think there's anything else him working through injuries. I don't think there's anything else that I can put that on.
Uh, yeah, yeah. There's really no other
It's
way to put it.
yeah,
It is
that's
what it
where I'm
is.
coming from. That's my only like if you're only complaining about a team is injuries, your team is probably in a pretty good situation. So let's move on to this next game against the Packers. Moses, what are your thoughts? What do the Bears have to do to win? And what do you think will happen? Final scores, all that good stuff. Let's hear it right now.
All right, you know what? It's gonna be one of the toughest things that the Bears have ever faced. That is, of course, everything is on the line this game. And of course, it is against our biggest rivals, Green Bay. All right. Not to mention, it's at Lambeau. All right. Which is
It's gonna be tough,
notoriously one of the hardest fields to play on as an away team. Okay.
but COVID will help us in that area.
That's
COVID
a good
will.
point. That's a good
COVID
point.
will.
Without the fans, Lambeau isn't as scary. It's still Lambeau, though. It's one of those fields where just anything goes. And you know what? The home team is very much favored at their field there. Um, yeah, I think Green Bay is, I hate to say it, but
What are you
Green,
gonna say about them? The top team in the NFC.
yeah, I hate to say it, but they're just an insane team. They're actual contenders this year, and I
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're, in the Super Bowl. But
Absolutely.
you know what? I think we got to give them their fifth loss of the season.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I think.
I look at the Packers and I see a team that has an absolutely elite offense. Definitely the best offense in the NFC. Not the NFL, but definitely the NFC. I think that their weak spot, if they have any weak spots on their entire team, it's going to be their defense. I think if our offensive line can dominate the line of scrimmage and beat their defensive line, we'll be in good shape to compete in a shootout with them.
Yeah,
Um, I think that I think that will happen though. I think that will happen. I think that our offense will continue to have a good day and play well against a very good Packers defense. But if we're going to win this game, it's going to depend on the defense and the defensive performance. Are we going to play like our defense did against Detroit, or is our defense going to play like they did against Jacksonville and Houston? That's for me going to be the decider is how the defense plays. I think that the offense will play well against this Packers defense. It's going to be how the Packers offense plays against the Bears defense.
that's true. I think if the Bears, especially on defense, can get it all together, I think we're golden. I think we're good. I think it'll be a very close game. Uh, if the Bears can, get it all together. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I don't think that I can definitively say Chicago's winning it all. I think it's gonna be a very close game. It's gonna come down to the fourth quarter, and I think that's where Money Mitch, is gonna work his magic. That's for sure. but I I got hopes. I'm not gonna have them too high though, because
My
again,
mhm.
it's Green Bay at Lambeau.
My prediction is that the Bears will struggle in the first half, and get down. Let's say they'll get down by 2 touchdowns. They'll drive down the field at the end of the half, kick a field goal. They'll go in down by 10 after having a pretty rough half. They come out, hit the Packers in the mouth, have a great third quarter, and they're going to either tie it or be up by 3. And then in the fourth quarter, they're each going to score a touchdown, and it's all going to come down to Aaron Rodgers against the Bears defense. And that is going to be the drive that is going to decide the game. Who is better, the Bears defense or the Packers offense? I think that final drive will decide the game.
I mean, you can't count out Aaron Rodgers in crunch time. You really can't. I hate to be complimenting him because I hate Aaron Rodgers for
Yeah,
obvious reasons. But just look at the numbers, man. You
exactly.
can't debate him. That statistically speaking, he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game. All right, like there's there's
He's
really
a
not.
top 10 QB of all time.
He is, and not and especially in crunch time, I have him top five,
Hmm.
top
Yeah,
five QB in crunch
I
time of all
think
time.
that I think that it will come down to that, and when it does, I think that Aaron Rodgers will probably pull through.
There's nothing scarier than seeing Aaron Rodgers call a Hail Mary. There
Hmm.
really isn't. It's
Yeah.
I still have nightmares every single time. It, it's scary, but
That's my prediction for the game. I really will be hoping. I think that the Bears' easiest path to the playoffs is the Cardinals losing to the Rams because this Packers team is
yeah.
so tough. It's so tough. We're gonna have to hope that Arizona loses too.
I mean, and I think the Rams are going to be playing their hearts out because, they obviously want to get that good seed right there. They want to do real good.
Yeah, like Kyler Murray deserves to be in the playoffs, and so does
But
DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah,
but I
are they
don't think
complete enough?
no. I
They're
don't
not gonna go anywhere even if they do get in the playoffs. I
I
think
think
that the Bears are a better team than the Cardinals. I'll say that. I
yeah.
think we're a more complete team that are best than the Cardinals. And I think if we get in the playoffs, we're gonna play tougher than the Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals just don't have that defense that they need. The Cardinals have that offense. That's for sure.
Exactly.
They're
Their
that high
offense is extremely potent. Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins are amazing together,
deadly
but
duo.
they don't have that defensive prowess that you need to
You know.
compete with a top team.
So I
Not even to
really
go in the playoffs.
if any one of those teams is gonna, do better or get past the first round, I'm gonna go and say Chicago is gonna be better than,
Hmm,
Arizona, but
absolutely.
I don't see Arizona doing anything past the first. So I think honestly I think the Arizona's gonna lose to the Rams, and then from there,
I think that's how we get in the playoffs. I hope that's how we get in the playoffs. Fingers
Aaron
crossed.
uh Aaron Donald, this is all for you.
This is a shout
Oh,
out to you, Aaron. Aaron.
Aaron
Want to see what
Donald,
you can do.
number
Want to see what you
99.
can do, baby.
There's a reason
You
you're
got to pressure
99 on my
Kyler, hit him a couple times, make him
Woo!
uncomfortable, and Bears get in.
If
All
he
right.
can all right, well, I was gonna say if you can walk after the game, you ain't do it right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, respect to Kyler, but not right now. Not right now. Oh man. All right. Season's coming to an end. Moses, if you could change one thing about the Bears season, what would it be?
it's our offensive line all season, man. If we had a good offensive line, we would have been not worrying about the seventh seed. We would have been competing for, top spot in the NFC North. But yeah, I'm going to say our main trouble was our offensive line.
Yeah, usually I'm the guy that thinks of the offensive line first, but I wasn't even thinking of that. If we had made those changes in positioning earlier in the season, definitely would have been way different. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think taking out Mitch in the not making him benching him in the fourth game, I think that was probably a good decision because he wasn't playing well back then. But I think that once Nick Foles had lost that second game or that third game, it was kind of obvious that he wasn't our guy, but they kept him in.
Yeah. I think
And
we
that's, I think, where you put Mitch back in and you make those adjustments to the offense. If you put Mitch in and you make those adjustments to the offense earlier in the season, we wouldn't be having this conversation of if the Bears get into the playoffs. I think.
no, yeah, I think that's definitely true because I think the Bears are a playoff team, and they definitely deserve to be in it. So I think if we had done those changes on offense, Chicago would have been up there. But here we are.
hmm There were definitely some losses this season that were totally preventable. Um,
Like
last
Detroit.
thing, yeah, last thing I would say would just be injuries on the defensive side. Losing Akeem Hicks for those couple of games sucked. Khalil Mack, we talked about him battling through some nagging injuries. It sucks, man. So if there was another thing that I could change about that season, it would be that.
Yeah.
It would be that.
Alrighty.
But we've got reason to be optimistic here. We're
We can
looking
still
forward to
make
this
it. We can
Sunday.
still make it.
We can still
Let's
make
go,
it.
baby. Let's
We're
go,
in the
Chicago.
driver's seat. We are ready to go. Bears
All the way.
fans, we love you. We will
Bear down,
see.
baby. Bear down.
We will be talking about the Bears season and the Packers game and the Arizona Cardinals and Rams game. We're gonna be talking about it all.
On the next episode of the Beanie Boys podcast. So, from me, Doke, we'll see y'all next week.
And all of us here in the northwestern suburbs. Good afternoon and good night.